Pope John Paul II gave permission, the indult, for priests who wanted to offer the Tridentine Mass, the Latin Mass. All they had to do was write to him because their bishops wouldn't permit it. Right? He said, write to Rome, and you'll get I guess some sort of a certificate. I don't know what it was. Rather than doing that, I went to my bishop. Right? Now, this is a man who was educated way before the Second Vatican Council. And I said, rather than writing to Rome, would you give me permission? Would you give me permission to say the Tridentine Mass? I asked my bishop, would you give me permission rather than me writing to Rome? I think, he looked right at me. I had an orphanage at the time. We had 150 kids. He looked right at me and he said, you would do that to those children? I said, excuse me? He said, and it started trembling. He said, you would do that to those children? I said, yeah. Why wouldn't I do that? This is the Mass that you had growing up and all through seminary, and you said as a priest. It's the Mass that I had when we grew up. Saints have been nourished with this Mass. What do you mean, would I do that to those children? What are you talking about? Oh, that was it. That destroyed my relationship with him. He's gone to God. He knows better now. However, this is the reaction. Isn't there something unnatural about that? Why would you hate something like that? Now, you might disagree with it. You don't like it. But there was really a hatred for it that was semi-diabolical. It was really incredible. Diabolein, the two Greek words, to tear into two, right? That's diabolical. Means to destroy, to rip. Our past was ripped in pieces. They did this. But I remember that was his reaction. Finally, when Papa Ratzinger came out and said, these bishops are being unreasonable. Any priest who wants to say the Tridentine Mass can do so independent of his bishop. The next day, I started saying the Tridentine Mass. Yeah, absolutely. I had to learn it. It cost me a little bit to learn. Other people learned it along with me, some lay people, and it's just more beautiful. I would never go back to the other Mass. I'm old enough to not care. When I'm telling you the truth. It's not very diplomatic on my part, but I'm old enough to not care. There was a little boy came in to see my mother, God love her, when she was dying. She was in a bad way. This little kid was about 3.5, 4 years old. He came in and he saw my mother, who was with oxygen and everything else, and he looked right at her and looked up and he said, "How old are you?" Those were his first words. And my mother knelt down to get eye-to-eye contact. She said, "How old am I? I'll tell you how old I am. I'm old enough to have stopped caring what people think of me and have started thinking that they should care what I think of them. That's how old I am." Right? Well, I'm just about that age. I'm just about there. So I don't really care anymore. I really don't care that this is going to cost me something or upset somebody. I'm telling you the truth. And the truth is that the most beautiful masses that I've ever offered, my own ordination and first Mass included, have been the Tridentine Mass. They connect me. They connect me with Jesus Christ instituting the Eucharist and on the cross. They're beautiful moments. I relish them. And there's an intimacy that I enjoy as a priest that I never got talking to a crowd, emceeing as if I'm on the Tonight Show.